A vintage rustic garden is more than just a collection of plants and old furniture, it's a storybook come to life. In today's video, we'll explore how recycled old items can transform ordinary outdoor spaces into enchanting retreats that blend history, charm, and sustainability. From weathered wooden crates to antique iron gates, each piece contributes to an atmosphere of nostalgia and natural beauty. We'll take you on a journey starting outside in the open garden and slowly moving indoor. Every great garden begins with a welcoming entrance. A rustic garden gate made from reclaimed wood or wrought iron instantly sets the tone. Imagine stepping through an arched doorway wrapped in climbing ivy or roses, where chipped paint and aged patina only add to its charm. These small details signal to visitors that they're about to enter a space where time slows down and beauty is preserved. Even a simple recycled door repurposed as a gate can become an unforgettable focal point. Rustic gardens thrive on materials that feel aged and timeless. Pathways built from salvaged cobblestones, old bricks, or flagstones create a nostalgic atmosphere. Their uneven surfaces tell stories of past lives, whether they were once part of an old street, a chimney, or a forgotten farmhouse. Lined with lavender, thyme, or wildflowers, these paths not only guide visitors but also evoke an emotional connection to history. Walking along them feels like stepping into another era, where nature and heritage merge beautifully. Instead of conventional edging, vintage rustic gardens celebrate resourcefulness. Old railway sleepers, chipped terracotta tiles, or even rusted metal strips can outline flower beds with authentic character. Using recycled items for borders gives the impression that the garden has been evolving for decades, each piece finding a new purpose. Pairing wild perennials, herbs, and native blooms with these recycled frames enhances the sense of natural, lived-in beauty. The result is a garden that feels abundant, imperfect, yet utterly inviting in its storytelling. Every rustic garden benefits from a statement piece, often crafted from recycled furniture. An old wrought iron bed frame transformed into a flower trellis or a vintage sewing machine table repurposed as a plant stand creates intrigue. These items bridge functionality and artistry, reminding us that beauty often lies in what others might discard. They instantly become conversation starters, pulling visitors closer to examine the blend of craftsmanship, age, and plant life thriving together. Such focal points anchor the garden's narrative. Water brings serenity to any outdoor space, and in a rustic garden, recycled items can make it magical. An old galvanized washtub converted into a mini pond or a hand pump attached to a half-barrel fountain adds both sound and visual charm. These water features look as though they've always belonged there, weathered by time yet still functioning with grace. The trickling water not only refreshes the senses but also symbolizes renewal, a key theme in gardens built on recycled treasures. No garden is complete without a place to sit and enjoy its atmosphere. Rustic gardens shine with seating crafted from recycled pieces, mismatched wooden chairs, a table made from pallets, or a bench built from salvaged beams. These spots invite rest, storytelling, and reflection. Surrounding them with potted herbs, lanterns, or hanging baskets creates a setting where friends and family naturally gather. It's a reminder that gardens are not just for looking at but also for living in, heart and soul. A garden's vertical dimension adds drama and depth, and recycled materials bring it to life. Old wooden ladders, repurposed doors, or wrought iron headboards can be transformed into trellises for climbing plants like roses, beans, or clematis. These structures not only support growth but also embody rustic authenticity. Unlike shiny new metal arches, recycled trellises carry visible history, peeling paint, small cracks, and rust patterns that only deepen their beauty. Over time, plants weave through them, blending nature's artistry with human heritage. Flower pots in rustic gardens don't need to come from the store. Instead, recycled containers make each planting unique. Think enamel basins, milk cans, chipped ceramic bowls, or even an old wheelbarrow overflowing with blooms. These vessels may be imperfect, but that imperfection creates character. Their dents, scratches, and faded paint tell a story, offering more depth than mass-produced containers. When filled with colorful flowers, herbs, or succulents, they become living sculptures that add whimsy, nostalgia, and warmth to any corner. When the sun sets, a rustic garden doesn't lose its beauty, it glows. Lighting crafted from recycled items such as mason jar lanterns, vintage oil lamps, or repurposed bird cages can create an enchanting evening atmosphere. Hung from tree branches or nestled among plants, these lights flicker gently, casting shadows that highlight textures and forms. Unlike modern solar lamps, recycled lighting gives off a handcrafted, soulful vibe. The play of light and shadow transforms the garden into a magical retreat for nighttime relaxation. Rustic gardens celebrate biodiversity, and recycled items play a big role in supporting it. Old wooden boxes turned into birdhouses, chipped teapots serving as bee hotels, or cracked clay pots stacked as toad shelters all create habitats. These DIY solutions not only recycle old items but also invite life back into the garden. Watching birds nest, bees buzz, and frogs rest adds a dynamic rhythm to the space. It's proof that vintage rustic gardens are not just human retreats but shared ecosystems. For those who love entertaining outdoors, rustic dining spaces become highlights. A weathered wooden table paired with mismatched vintage chairs sets the stage for meals under the open sky. Old crates can hold herbs and spices, while enamelware plates bring back memories of countryside picnics. Adding recycled candle holders or iron chandeliers suspended from a tree enhances the atmosphere. Dining here feels less like a formal event and more like a cozy gathering steeped in nostalgia, sustainability, and simple pleasures. Even walls and fences become canvases for rustic beauty when recycled items are involved. Hanging old tools, bicycle wheels, or vintage window frames transforms a blank wall into a piece of outdoor art. Combined with climbing plants or hanging baskets, these displays create layers of visual storytelling. Each object holds a past life, and when placed thoughtfully, they weave together to form a narrative that visitors can read as they explore. This creative reuse elevates the garden into an outdoor gallery. Practicality in rustic gardens is never dull. Old wardrobes, wooden crates, or metal lockers can serve as storage for tools, seeds, and garden accessories. Rather than hiding them away, these storage solutions enhance the theme, blending utility with aesthetics. Even a weathered cabinet under a shelter can hold gloves and pots while looking like a charming piece of history. This approach ensures the garden remains functional without sacrificing the vintage character that makes it special, balancing form with everyday necessity. One of the most beautiful aspects of rustic gardens is how they bridge the gap between outdoor and indoor living. Patios with recycled flooring materials, such as reclaimed brick or wood, naturally lead toward doorways that carry the vintage theme inside. Hanging herbs near entrances, using recycled hooks for garden tools, or placing weathered benches by the door creates continuity. Visitors experience a seamless flow, where the garden feels like an extension of the home and the home feels rooted in nature. Stepping inside, the rustic vintage theme continues with entryways designed around recycled pieces. Old coat racks, distressed benches, or a mirror made from reclaimed wood welcome guests warmly. These details create an instant connection to the garden outside, maintaining the sense of charm and continuity. Even recycled storage baskets for shoes or umbrellas can contribute to the design. This thoughtful blending makes the transition indoors feel natural, as if the house and garden share the same soul and storytelling thread. Inside the home, rustic living rooms shine with furniture made from recycled wood, salvaged beams, or vintage finds. A reclaimed coffee table or a cabinet with peeling paint pairs beautifully with soft textiles, woven baskets, and plants brought in from the garden. This mix of old and new creates a warm, inviting space that encourages conversation and relaxation. The living room becomes an extension of the outdoor rustic experience, reminding everyone of the charm found in sustainability and simple beauty. Rustic kitchens naturally celebrate recycled items, blending practicality with charm. Open shelving made from reclaimed wood, old jars repurposed for storage, and enamelware cookware evoke countryside traditions. Hanging herbs from the garden dry above the counters, while vintage baskets hold fresh produce. Even a reclaimed farmhouse table doubles as both prep space and gathering spot. This kind of kitchen doesn't just function, it tells a story of resourcefulness and connection, where food, design, and history intertwine in everyday life. The rustic dining room bridges outdoor simplicity and indoor coziness. A weathered dining table paired with mismatched chairs instantly sets a welcoming tone. Candles in recycled glass bottles or chandeliers made from wagon wheels highlight the vintage theme. Displaying old crockery or garden-fresh flowers in enamel jugs adds seasonal flair. Sharing meals here feels personal and intimate, enriched by the authenticity of reused materials. It is not about polished perfection but about celebrating history, connection, and the beauty of imperfection. Even bedrooms can embrace vintage rustic charm with recycled elements. Headboards crafted from old doors, quilted blankets made from fabric scraps, or bedside tables from salvaged crates all add unique touches. Natural fibers, earthy tones, and soft lighting complete the ambience. This rustic approach creates restful, grounded spaces that echo the tranquility of the garden outside. The bedroom becomes a sanctuary where recycled items are not just decor but reminders of the harmony between sustainability, comfort, and timeless design. Bathrooms in rustic homes often shine with recycled details. A vanity made from an old dresser, shelves built from reclaimed planks, or mirrors framed with weathered wood bring a vintage touch. Even clawfoot tubs, often rescued from old houses, become dramatic focal points. Paired with soft lighting, linen towels, and natural elements like stones or plants, these bathrooms embody rustic elegance. Every detail tells a story, reminding us that sustainability can create luxury when rooted in creativity and authenticity. Bringing greenery indoors completes the rustic cycle. Old tin cans, chipped teacups, or antique crates make charming planters for herbs, succulents, and ferns. These recycled containers tie the indoors back to the garden, reminding us of nature's presence year-round. They add warmth to shelves, tables, and windowsills while celebrating resourceful beauty. The imperfections of each container, scratches, dents, faded colors, make them unique and personal. This approach ensures that rustic vintage character thrives indoors as strongly as it does outside. Beyond furniture and plants, rustic decor thrives on storytelling. Vintage clocks, old family photographs in reclaimed frames, or salvaged signs add personal history to interiors. These details create emotional layers, turning a house into a home filled with meaning. Unlike generic modern decor, recycled items carry memories, craftsmanship, and individuality. They encourage visitors to pause, look closer, and ask questions. This emotional resonance makes rustic homes more than just aesthetically pleasing, they become spaces that reflect identity, heritage, and creativity. At the heart of vintage rustic design lies sustainability. Recycled items reduce waste, honor craftsmanship, and encourage creativity. They remind us that beauty doesn't need to be bought new, it can be found in what already exists. Rustic gardens and homes celebrate imperfection, showing that cracks, rust, and weathering can be sources of charm. By embracing recycled treasures, we create spaces that are not only stylish but also environmentally responsible. Rustic living is, ultimately, about respect for both history and nature. From garden gates to indoor bedrooms, the beauty of a vintage rustic garden with recycled old items lies in its authenticity. It tells a story of creativity, sustainability, and deep connection to nature. By weaving together old materials and new life, we build spaces that feel both timeless and meaningful. This journey reminds us that home and garden are not separate, they are reflections of the same soul. A rustic lifestyle is not just design, but a philosophy of living beautifully with less.